defending champion Jim Hartung go for 3 on his home floor, while UCLA's Peter Vidmar challenges him for the all-around crown. Now to Tim Ryan.
And from the University of Utah and the snow-covered Rockies, the Women's Gymnastics Championships, featuring athletes like Penn State's Heidi Anderson and Utah freshman star Sue Stednitz, competing for the all-around individual title. It's all coming right up on CBS Sports.
You're looking at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, which was opened during the summer of 1976 and is located just north of the main campus of the University of Nebraska. It's now the site of the 1982 Men's Gymnastics Championships, and we're expecting a capacity of crowd of 15,000 to be on hand. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Irv Cross in Lincoln, Nebraska, and my expert analyst today is Peter Corman, the only American gymnast to win a medal in the Olympic Games in 50 years, and he earned a spot in Montreal in 1976. Peter's also a former all-around champion in this competition and is currently coaching at the U.S. Naval Academy. Now, Peter, in the all-around competition and in the individual event competition, we're going to see America's best.
Yes, we are. What we'll be seeing in the all-around competition is a sampling of what's to be at the '84 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, led by the strong all-arounds of Peter Vidmar from UCLA and Nebraska's own Jimmy Hartung. And in the individual event finals, we'll actually be seeing the best gymnastics in the United States.
And in the team championship, defending champion Nebraska will be going for the 4th consecutive NCAA championship. Should be a great competition. In the all-around competition, after the compulsory scores is only half the scoring, Peter Vidmar has a half-point lead over defending champion Jimmy Hartung.
And it was the parallel bars that gave Jimmy Hartung a little bit of trouble, opening the door for Peter Vidmar. This mistake right here, the hesitation, cost him ever so important tenths. And now it's simply a matter of catching up to Pete Vidmar.
Jim Hartung from Nebraska had to settle for a score of 9.30, and his father, of course, shares his disappointment.
Jimmy's dad has seen a lot of gymnastics in his day, and he realizes what a mistake like that in the compulsories can do to the all-around competition.
In the optional competition of the all-around contest, Timmy Daggett, a sophomore from UCLA, is the first man up on the parallel bars.
Timmy is one of the fastest rising stars in the USA national team, currently ranked 6th. A tricky balance move there on one parallel bar rail, presses to the handstand.
What should we expect to see in his performance? What type of moves does he have to make?
Well, those movements right there where he's landing tricks in the handstand position are considered virtuous. And that's what all the performers will be doing. Preparing now for a dismount. Good landing, great routine by Tim Daggett.
Tim Daggett is just one of several outstanding athletes in Art Schorach, the coach of UCLA, handles. Art, by the way, himself was a former Olympian. And Tim Daggett comes up with a score of 9.65 in the parallel bars. And the man to watch from UCLA is Peter Vidmar, one of the fast rising stars in men's gymnastics.
This is one of Peter Vidmar's best events, the parallel bars, as he has many original movements. Coming now, a 1.5 twist to one rail, very difficult and risky. And back up to the handstand position, just super.
Does it take a great deal of strength to perform in the parallel bars as it does in the rings?
Not a tremendous amount of strength, but balance is very critical here. Peter preparing for the dismount, same as Timmy Daggett did. Oh no, lost balance there, had to catch it by running forward, that's gonna cost him. Let's look at it again. Peter came up a little short on somersault, didn't stay in the tuck position quite long enough, had to take those steps forward. Boy, the tenths are critical now. That would have been a 9.8 or a 9.9 performance possibly.
Peter Vidmar losing about 0.2 of a point on that faulty dismount, scoring 9.60 in the parallel bars. Moving to the vault in the all-around competition, we find Billy Paul from Cal Berkeley signaling to the judges that he's ready to go.
Billy's been tremendous for Cal Berkeley this year. He's their leading all-arounder and sparks the team to their best performance they've had since 1976. Solid takeoff, good landing, excellent fall by Billy Paul.
Peter, with that step he took forward, would there be much of a deduction on that?
Not a severe deduction, probably a tenth or two. But what we're looking for there is a tremendous push, a lot of height, and good distance. And Billy Paul did all of that.
Billy Paul did it all for a 9.55 score. In the rings, Jim Mikus from Nebraska prepares for his mount.
And Jimmy has actually been one of the spark plugs to Nebraska's team. He was injured last season, so they didn't know what to expect of him this year, and he's come through in every possible capability.
Jim Mikus, a young sophomore from Nebraska, had a shoulder injury most of last year, but he seems to have overcome it.
Yes, he has, and Jimmy was the best junior gymnast from 1974 to 78. Nebraska was very happy to get him. And boy, he's helped this club out an amazing amount this season.
You hear so much about the rings and the strength it takes to compete in this event. Is strength the most important thing for the
I'd say strength and swing. Here you see a press to a handstand, which is a required strength move. And now some swinging motions preparing for the dismount. Good lift, somersault, excellent landing, tremendous routine by the young Jimmy Mikus.
Jim Mikus, a rising star at the University of Nebraska, only a sophomore there, completes his routine on the rings and comes up with a score of 9.45 for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The next competitor in the rings is junior Scott Johnson from the University of Nebraska.
Come on, Scott!
Francis Allen, I tell you, what a record he's had at Nebraska, going now for his 4th consecutive NCAA title. New record.
This is one of Scotty's best events, the rings. He combines strength moves with tremendous swing, and there's the first strength part, the cross. And now he's preparing to press to the handstand with straight arms. Very nice. And you'll see him now swing in both directions without bending his arms, and that's a virtuosity point on the rings. There's one way.
Peter, we should expand on that scoring concept. What do you mean by virtuosity? Can you get extra points by?
Yes, you can get extra points for risk, originality, and virtuosity, and Scotty gets them all on the rings. Preparing for the dismount now. Up. Wow, what a routine. Scott Johnson.
Great, just he had to nail it. Scott Johnson, an outstanding performance on the rings, comes up with a score of 9.60 for the Cornhuskers. And the man everybody in Lincoln, Nebraska loves to watch perform any day of the week is Jimmy Hartung.
Jimmy's somewhat of a legend here in his 4 short years at Nebraska. And this is one of the events he's done it on. He's been called the Lord of the Rings.
Well, let's sit back and watch and listen to the Lord of the Rings.
Look at that strength part, without bending his arms. Excellent. And now the swinging motions. Both directions. And Jimmy's the only one in the world that can do this dismount, the double twisting, double somersault. Here it is, right there. Stuck for a great routine. Another look at that dismount. Jimmy's the only performer in the country to do this, the double twisting, double somersault. 2 flips and 2 twists. Lift, twist. Great landing, what a routine.
What a dismount. Jimmy Hartung from the University of Nebraska coming up with a score of 9.75 in the still rings. The standings after each team of all-arounders has completed one event finds Peter Vidmar still ahead, but Jimmy Hartung closing the gap.
The NCAA Gymnastics Championships. This CBS Sports Special is sponsored by Kemper and the independent insurance agents who represent us. For all of your insurance needs, ride with Kemper. By Smooth and Mellow Michelob. And by Ramada Inns, with over 650 hotels worldwide.
Cavalry brings you a totally new concept in car insurance. Kemper Total, new car repair or replacement coverage. If your car is ever badly damaged in an accident, ordinary insurance might not pay enough to put you on the road again. But Kemper Total will pay the cost to repair your car if possible, or replace it with a brand new car of the same make. About $3 extra a month in most cases. Kemper Total. Only from the Cavalry.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend. Windy City style. The city's alive 7 days of the week. And Chicagoans make every one of them special with the smooth and mellow taste of Michelob.
Michelob at booth 1. Now that's my kind of night in the town.
Put a little weekend in your week, yeah.
Welcome back to the NCAA 1982 Men's Gymnastics Championships. The 10 teams participating here were selected on the basis of eligibility of student athletes, team scoring average, head-to-head competition, strength of schedule, and one lost record for the season. The NCAA committee selected one school from each of 4 regions and 6 others at large based on the same standards. Individual gymnasts were chosen based on scoring average and head-to-head competition if necessary. The standings in the men's all-around competition after one event finds Peter Vidmar ahead. One of the most dynamic events in gymnastics is the vault. Our expert Peter Corman explains.
The Sukahara full twist is the most difficult vault in gymnastics. In order to learn this vault, the gymnast must first learn 3 basic movements. The first being the round-off vault. And that's the basic round-off vault. Now we move to the Sukahara, or round-off with a backflip. The Sukahara vault was first done in the early 70s by a Japanese gymnast named Sukahara. It involves combining a round-off and a back somersault. As the gymnast hits the vaulting board, he places his hands on the horse, gets a tremendous push, adds the backflip, and looks for a solid landing. The next phase is learning the Sukahara in the laid-out or stretched position. When the gymnast mastered the Sukahara in the laid-out position, we're ready for the Sukahara full twist. Adding a twist to the Sukahara vault complicates matters, which is why a gymnast needs a tremendous amount of speed and power before he hits the vaulting board. A strong push is required to get the somersault and twisting action in, as you can see the twist and the landing. Once you've learned these 4 vaults and mastered the Sukahara with the full twist, you're ready for NCAA gymnastics competition. Let's take a look at the University of Nebraska's vaulting team.
Okay, Jim Mikus is the first man up. The young sophomore says he wants to be on the 1984 Olympic team. Is he liable to perform Sukahara?
Jimmy performs another vault in a different category, a handspring type vault, and there's a Bereni out, very nice vault, took a little step forward, but not a severe deduction.
Jim Mikus, young sophomore from the University of Nebraska, performing on the vault with a score of 9.45. Phil Cahoy, the next man up, his teammate from Nebraska, who has had a pretty exciting career there, too, working in the shadow of Jimmy Hartung.
And Phil does a Sukahara in the stretched or laid out position. There it is. Great landing for Phil. That's one of the best vaults I've ever seen him do.
Oh, gee. Phil Cahoy. Pretty big for a gymnast. He's 5'11", 158 pounds from the University of Nebraska. Take a look at the replay on this vault.
And let's see the push that Phil gets off the horse.
Come on, James.
Gets a good position. Hard push with the arms. Looks for that landing. Very nice vaulting.
Great vault. Great landing. And Phil Cahoy, University of Nebraska, comes up with a score of 9.45 in the vault. The next competitor in the vault is Jimmy Hartung, University of Nebraska.
And Jimmy competed in the finals at the World Championships this year on this event. He was the only American male gymnast to make it to the final round. Great vault. Another one by Jimmy Hartung.
What depth Nebraska shows. Jim Mikus, Phil Cahoy, now Hartung. 1, 2, 3 in the vault. And Hartung performing in pretty good fashion. comes up with a score of 9.55 in the vault. The next competitor we're going to see from University of Nebraska again is Scotty Johnson.
And Scotty Johnson will be performing the Sukahara with the full twist, the vault we showed you earlier. Good lift, great landing, little close to the horse, but still should receive the top score.
He really stuck it pretty well, but he did take that false step, and that will take some deductions off his score. And Scotty Johnson from Nebraska comes up with a score of 9.35 in the vault. Peter Vidmar from UCLA, the current leader in the all-around competition, gets ready for the high bar. And his parents have flown in from Southern California to give him the added support he needs.
You know, I've been to many competitions and seen the Vidmars there supporting Peter. I know when I was competing, it was one of the things I looked forward to was my parents watching me in competition. That really helps a lot. Pete talks about his folks all the time.
Well, he's from a big family. He has 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and he's the baby of the family.
As Mom and Dad look on, this exciting high bar routine. Wow, Pete looks great.
The high bar appears to be a fairly dangerous event, is it?
Yes, it is very dangerous, especially with the new release moves that are coming into the high bar in the last year or so. The dismount now, twisting double flyway, good landing, another great routine, Pete Vidmar. And let's take another look at one of those dangerous release moves. This is called the front somersault. We grab the high bar. Let's go. The bar loses sight of it and catches it on the same side. Very dangerous and risky.
Peter Vidmar, trying to establish his domination in men's gymnastics, comes up with a score on the high bar of 9.75. He doesn't seem to be too happy about it, though. His teammate, Tim Daggett, now prepares to go to work on the high bar.
And this will be just as exciting routine as the last one we saw. Timmy Daggett is his routine packed with difficulty. And he's 3rd in the all-around now, so he's right in there with the others.
What happens when you release the bar and you have a blind release? How do you know when you can come back to it and grab?
Well, you mostly go on the sense or the numbers of times you've done it. If you let go too early, obviously you can't grab the bar. And if you hold on too long, you risk hitting the bar with your feet or even your face. Great dismount. What a routine.
He ever stick it. Timmy Daggett, you can see he's pretty happy with that performance. Tim Daggett from UCLA on the high bar with a tremendous dismount comes up with a score of 9.70 on the high bar for Timmy Daggett. The next competitor in the high bar is Brian Meeker from the University of Minnesota.
Brian's been a great performer for the University of Minnesota. This is his senior year. It's last year of competition for them. There's a one-arm giant swing. Very nice. Brian's release move coming up now. Flip catch. Great. Boy, he looks super. You know, Brian really established himself as a dominant figure in men's gymnastics when he won the National Sports Festival last season.
Peter, is the quality of men's gymnastics in this country beginning to improve?
Oh, improving tremendously. And that was a double twisting, double flyway, the same dismount that Jimmy Hartung did on the rings, done on the high bar by Brian Meeker.
Brian Meeker from the University of Minnesota finishing up his high bar competition with a score of 9.70. The standings after 2 events, the men's all-around competition finds Peter Vidmar leading the field.
America, Ramada is changing the ho-hums into the ahas.
We're taking ho-hums out, we're putting ahas in. We're making changes for the better cause we like the grins.
We're putting ahas into our bedrooms, our lobbies, and our restaurants. So if you've been tired of the ho-hums, come to Ramada. We're waiting for you with some very big ahas.
We're changing right before your eyes.
Out of the blue.
freshness of Aquavelva. Out of the blue comes the Aquavelva man, looking for the light scent, the clean scent, the fresh scent that comes from out of the blue. There's something about an Aquavelva man. Be one.
Saturday on Walt Disney, what secret has Pollyanna discovered that turns an entire town into a lynch mob? It's the all-new Adventures of Pollyanna, Saturday.
Welcome back to Lincoln, Nebraska. After each team of all-arounders has completed 2 events, Peter Vidmar of UCLA continues to be the leader.
And this is a critical pass for him, a full twisting double somersault. It's a new part in his routine. Yes! That full twisting double somersault is the first year Peter's used that in competition, and he's had troubles with it throughout the season. To keep his all-around lead, he had to hit that, and boy, that was a great one.
You know, Peter, you can hear Coach Sherlock encouraging Peter, saying, pretty, all right, Pete. He has a microphone on, and every now and then you can hear his voice come through.
Yeah, that's an important part. Coach's encouragement always helps quite a bit. Pete looks great in this floor routine, as good a routine as I've ever seen him do it. You know, doing that full twisting somersault was a risk for Peter. He could have went with an easier routine and probably would have scored a similar score. But he took the chance, he wanted to go with the hard routine, and it looks like it's going to pay off for him. And that was as fine a floor exercise routine as I've ever seen Pete do. He's capping it off here with the double pike somersault. Watch the lift. There it is. And the solid landing. Just super.
Peter Vidmar, the leader in the all-around competition going into the 3rd event, has to be happy with that performance.
Pete, I saw the look of relief on your face when you did the full in. That was a great routine.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, the full in was one of my big worries for the whole meet, so I'm glad I got that out of the way. I just got 3 more events, halfway done. I feel pretty good, but it's going to be really tough. I'm just going to have to keep it up because Jim's really coming on strong right now.
In the high bar, Bill Paul, University of California at Berkeley, prepares to go to work. Peter, is this one of his stronger events?
Yes, this is Billy's best event. He has a 9.8 average throughout the competitive season on this event, so you can expect some super stuff here. Wow, that's a reverse hack. Very nice. You know, Billy's ranked 13th in the country right now in the all-around, and high bar has been the thing that's really put it away for him. By Billy Paul, a triple flyaway, super.
Billy Paul, University of California at Berkeley, comes off a high bar with an outstanding performance. For that performance, he scores 9.80. Jim Mikus, University of Nebraska, prepares to start his mount in the parallel bars. You see that there are a number of events going on at the same time. Peter, is that distracting?
Occasionally it's distracting, but most gymnasts set themselves in a frame of mind where they only concentrate on exactly what they're doing. And the judges as well must concentrate on just what the gymnast is doing in front of them. Try to block out all the other things going on around them.
How would you rate Mikus' abilities as on the parallel bar?
Well, Jimmy's still a young gymnast. He's only a sophomore, so he has a way to go. But, boy, he's improved as fast as any junior gymnast has. He's from Reading, Pennsylvania, and was coached by Larry Moyer. Super routine. One of the best coached young gymnasts in the country.
Jim Mikus, University of Nebraska, completing his exercise on the parallel bars, comes up with a score of 9.35. Not too happy with that. In the parallel bars, Phil Cahoy from University of Nebraska is preparing for his mount. Now, last year, Peter, Cahoy really burned this event.
Yes, he did. He won the national championships on the college level last year on the parallel bars. and he is really someone to watch here. The crowd loves it. Look at that.
You talk about a home field advantage. The Nebraska fans welcomed every one of their athletes enthusiastically, but on the other hand, they also welcomed some of the other competitors as well, didn't they?
Yes, they do. They're a very well-educated crowd in the sport of gymnastics, and I think the guys love competing here for that reason.
Cahoy's a little unusual in that he's 5'11". That's pretty tall for a gymnast, isn't it?
It is tall, but his height actually helps him on this event because it gives him the ability to create a lot of force. And let's look at how that long body creates the amount of force that's required to complete this 1.5 twisting somersault.
Phil Cahoy coming off a near-perfect dismount. University of Nebraska earns a score of 9.80. In the parallel bar is Jimmy Hartung from University of Nebraska, who continues to trail Peter Vidmar in the all-around competition, prepares for his mount.
You know, Jimmy had a little trouble here in the compulsory round on the parallel bars. He's trying to put that out of his mind right now because he's still in the race for the all-around crown. This event could be bothering him now. All his concentration should be placed on these few movements. He's off to a good start.
Peter, what are some of the things you're most conscious of when you're working up there on the parallel bars?
Well, I'm sure Jimmy's a little nervous now because he had the trouble in the compulsory session. But boy, he's overcoming that nervousness. Look at that press to a handstand. Incredible. Preparing for the dismount now. One more trick and he's got the parallel bars done. Yes!
So at the end of 3 events completed in all-around competition, Jimmy Hartung, University of Nebraska, scoring a 9.70 in the parallel bars, begins to move up on Peter Vidmar. Vidmar continues to lead. Hartung, Daggett, Mikus, Johnson, and Cahoy trail.
In the mountains of southern Colombia, for centuries, the cloth has been woven by hand. It is not the fastest.